Hey, how's it going, everybody? Epiphany. Apparently, it's a Christmas related holiday that's celebrated on January 6th. I've got a few articles pulled up here. Um, I don't know much about this. A fellow viewer by the name of Brandon brought it to my attention when I put up a couple Christmas related videos, and it piqued my interest. I think I did celebrate this once as a kid. I think I was like in middle school. A few of my friends celebrated it, so we joined in on the fun. And it commemorated the three wise men bearing gifts. So you'd go to sleep and you'd wake up, and the kids would have gifts under their pillow. Um, but let's see. Let's read about it and let's get more information. For those who thought that Christmas was over, Epiphany, celebrated on January 6th, marks the final celebratory day of the Christian holiday season. While most people begin taking down their Christmas decorations by New Year's, there's still a full week before many practicing Christians complete their celebrations of the birth of Jesus Christ. It's commonly associated with the day of the three wise men. Okay, there we go. Arriving at the manger, and has several different names throughout history and cultures. Well, as we know, if you guys watched my previous video on a biblically accurate Christmas or a biblically accurate nativity, you know that this statement isn't really accurate, right? All right, let's look up the history of Epiphany. Epiphany is a Christian feast day celebrating the revelation of God incarnate as Jesus Christ. In Western Christianity, the feast commemorates the visit of the three wise men who followed an angel to Bethlehem, where Jesus was born. The day has also been referred to as the Three Kings Day. Okay, there we go. So it was that. And Little Christmas by both Irish and Amish Christians. The feast of the Epiphany concludes the 12 days of Christmastide and is the traditional end of the Christmas season. Oh, that's interesting. As early as the 4th century, churches of the Eastern Roman Empire were celebrating Christmas on January 6th. Okay, so they were celebrating Christmas on January 6th. Those in the West, so what was Christmas to them? Was it to commemorate the birth of Jesus Christ, or was it to commemorate the coming of the three wise men? Those in the West were celebrating on December 25th, which is why some places refer to the feast of the Epiphany as Old Christmas. Since then, many cultures have developed their own names and traditions to celebrate this day. For example, in Scandinavia, they celebrate what they call Little Christmas Eve on December 23rd. In Spain, children traditionally did not receive their presents on Christmas Day, but instead on January 6th. In commemoration of the day the wise men arrived in Bethlehem bearing gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. I mean, that makes sense. In Ireland, they also call Little Christmas Women's Christmas because Irishmen take on the household duties for the day. Other popular traditions include singing, chalking the door, having one's house blessed, eating a Three Kings cake. That sounds yummy. Going to church, and winter swimming. It is also customary for many Christians to remove their Christmas decorations on Epiphany Eve, although other Christian countries historically removed them on Candlemas, the conclusion of the Epiphany tide. See, I never heard of Candlemas either. According to I'm guessing that's the last day or the evening of Epiphany. But no, that would be Epiphany Eve, so I'm not entirely sure. According to the first tradition, those who failed to remember to remove their Christmas decorations on Epiphany Eve must leave them untouched until Candlemas. Interesting. Okay, so the birth of Christ, based on historical findings, there's a little timeline here. Based on historical findings and biblical references, most scholars believe Jesus was born between 4 and 6 BC. It depends on how we look at the calendar, right? Because some believe that Jesus' birth is at 0 BC. Okay, here we go. Here's the important thing. The earliest references to Epiphany as a Christian feast is by Ammianus Marcellinus, who assigns January 6th to both Jesus' birth and baptism. So this is, again, very different. If Jesus' birth and baptism was assigned to January 6th, then what about the wise men coming? You know? Because the wise men didn't come the day Jesus was born. So right now, I want to get a bit more historical information, because this article seemed to give me the way it is commemorated, the way the day is celebrated. It did give me some historical information, but I want to know a little bit more. So for that, let's go to Britannica. Epiphany, a Christian holiday commemorating the first manifestation of Jesus Christ to the Gentiles, represented by the Magi. That's interesting to look at it that way, because it is Jesus Christ's first manifestation to the Gentiles. That's cool. I like that. The manifestation, and that makes it more significant. That makes the coming of the three wise men so much more significant, because Jesus didn't just come here for the Jews. The shepherds were probably Jewish. He came here for everybody, commemorated by represented by the wise men. That's cool. And the manifestation of his divinity, as it occurred at his baptism in the Jordan River and at his first miracle at Cana in Galilee. So do we think, or do the people who celebrate Epiphany believe that January 6th was the day of the baptism as well? And his first miracle was on January 6th? I don't know. I'm not entirely sure why these two events are also significant for the holiday of Epiphany. Let's see if this article explains that. Epiphany is one of the three principal and oldest festivals of the Christian church. The other two are Easter and Christmas. So it's not replacing Christmas. It's in addition to Christmas. Roman Catholics, Lutherans, and Anglicans, and other Western churches observe the feast on January 6th, while some Eastern Orthodox churches celebrate Epiphany on January 19th, since their Christmas Eve falls on January 6th. The festival originated in the Eastern Church, where it at first included a commemoration of Christ's birth. Okay. In Rome, by 354, Christ's birth was being celebrated on December 25th. So it was originally celebrated on January 6th, according to this. At least that's what I'm drawing from this. That's interesting. And later in the 4th century, the church in Rome began celebrating Epiphany on January 6th. In the Western Church, the festival primarily commemorates the visit of the Magi to the infant Jesus, which is seen as evidence that Christ, the Jewish Messiah, came also for the salvation of the Gentiles. You know, we're talking about that. That's interesting. I like that. In the East, it primarily commemorates the baptism of Jesus and celebrates the revelation that the incarnate Christ was both fully God and fully man. In the West, the evening preceding Epiphany is called the 12th night. The time between December 25th and January 6th is known as the 12 days of Christmas. That's cool. I like that. I thought the 12 days, all this while, I thought the 12 days, I didn't really know what the 12 days of Christmas was. So I assumed it was the 12 days preceding Christmas, leading up to Christmas. But this makes a whole lot more sense. Epiphany is celebrated with special pastries in many countries, and children often receive small gifts in their shoe in honor of the Magi's gifts to the infant Jesus. The holiday also has a number of traditions involved. Yeah, it wasn't the Three Kings Day, the thing that I did as a kid, that one time. It wasn't under the pillow. I think it was in a shoebox. So it makes sense, receiving the gifts in their shoes. The holiday also has a number of traditions involving water as a reflection of Jesus' baptism, including the blessing of the houses with holy water. And it looks like the Ethiopian Orthodox Church also commemorates the day with holy water. What is the tie of January 6th or Epiphany to the baptism? Are we tying a date to the baptism also? Or are we just using that day to commemorate these events? From what I drew from here, it seems like some look at Epiphany as a celebration of the baptism of Jesus. Some look at Epiphany as a celebration of the birth of Jesus. Some look at it as a celebration of the coming of the three wise men. So what is it exactly? And because there's so many different focuses of what is being celebrated, can we really put any significance on the date? Remember, some celebrate on January 6th, some celebrated on January 19th. So can we really look to January 6th like, hey, something happened here? Jesus was baptized. This is the day the Magi came. Jesus was born on this day. Or is it like a December 25th, where we celebrate it as Jesus' birthday, but is it really Jesus' birthday? Yeah, it's probably not. I'd like to look more into that, because Brandon also mentioned that Jesus was born on January 6th. Not only was Jesus born on January 6th, but Adam was created on January 6th. So that's something that caught my attention that he said, and I got some tabs pulled up here. We won't cover it in this video, but that is a video that is coming up, and we'll definitely look into that, because that piqued my interest and I find that real interesting. So let me know, what do you guys think about all this information? Do you celebrate Epiphany? Let me know if you have any more information about it, about the dates, about what is being celebrated, the origin, the history of it. Let me know all that stuff down below in the comment section, because I'm curious. And I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.